Welcome, fellow gamers and sports fans, to the very first Sports Gaming Anonymous podcast. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Henri, aka No, It's Not Henry, and I got some of the crew here with me today. You guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Aaron. I just need all y'all to know Kobe Bryant is the greatest basketball player to ever walk this earth.
Here we go.
Let's start.
All right, what's up, y'all? I'm Dre.
That's
Damn,
it.
that's it.
Like, you
I'm
ain't
playing. I'm C.
I don't,
Also
people don't
known
even
as
know anything else
C1.
about me. That's all they need to know is I'm Dre. They don't need to know nothing else.
That's what's up. I'm C, also known as C1, greatest rapper of all time. So Cold Music Group, CEEONEMUSIC on all social media formats. Follow the kid.
That's why I kept
Also
my
known as the
intro.
GOAT, Baby Goat for the OGs. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Good times.
All right, yo, what's going on, y'all? My name is Courtney. Fly Eagles fly all day. Eagles fan till I die. That's all I got.
My name is Jordan. You call Jay Hunt. Jay, get this shit underway, man.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate that. Some of that was longer than it needed to be. But anyway, we're going to kick things off with this first podcast. It's been a busy week in the NBA. Our most recent news, the biggest news of this week is the Ben Simmons extension, 5 years, $170 million. Before I let you guys have at it, I feel like the big question is whether or not Ben Simmons is worth the $170 million extension, right? We're talking about a guard, forward, whatever you want to call him, 6'10", that can handle the ball, that can't shoot. It's he does everything right-handed, but he shoots left-handed. Maybe he should switch to his right hand. He might be able to shoot better. So that's my feelings on it. I'll let you guys have at it. Aaron, what you think?
Well, with me, for Ben Simmons, I think he's worth every penny of $170 million. Let me tell you why. Because if you don't pay him that, somebody else will. And I'd rather overpay than to lose him. Because if Jamal Murray can get $170 million, Ben Simmons for sure can get $170 million.
That's fair.
I'll let someone else comment before I go a little deeper.
He's not wrong.
Got the biasness going on there too, though.
I kind of agree with what you're saying. I feel like in this league where players are, are taking more of the control in the league, as far as where they play and who they want to play with, you got to pay a guy, what you feel like he's worth, and, almost just as much as what he feels like he's worth as well, because, like you said, somebody's going to pay him. And at the end of the day, when you draft a star, you got to keep your star on your roster because you don't know what he's going to end up doing outside of that.
That's
Pay
true.
that man.
That's true. What you got, Andre?
I mean, yeah, he's worth the money, but the man, if he gonna play point guard, he gotta shoot. Like, you can't be a point guard and not take more than 25 shots outside of 16 feet the entire season. Like, come on, you can't do that. Now that they added, because think about it, they just added Horford to the roster. They lost Butler. They lost JJ. Them lanes gonna be crowded. And I don't care what you think. You can say Embiid and Horford can shoot, but they are two big men out on the perimeter that can't move as well as a guard. So those lanes are still going to be just as crowded. Traffic going to be crazy. Like, it's
You
just,
talking up Horford as the best All-Star in
All of a sudden,
East now.
All of a sudden, Al Horford just can't play basketball anymore.
No, because when Al Horford was on the Celtics, he played center. He played as a big man, and he played around Kyrie, Tatum, Brown, Hayward. No matter what you think about how he performed last season, he played around people that played their position. Now he plays. They pretty much got three centers on the court at all times when the three of them are out there. Like, nah, that ain't gonna be. I can't roll with that. I mean, granted, yeah, he deserves his money for what he can do. But as a guard, he need to attempt at least. I'm gonna give him at least 80 shots outside of 16 feet. Like 25 the whole season. Nah, I can't roll with that.
I feel like Dre brings up some good points. And before I kick it over to Jordan, I just want to say, let's preface this by mentioning that Dre is the biggest Celtics fan of all time. It's all the Al Horford shenanigans. But I also feel like it's a shooter's league, right? I mean, And Philadelphia's running out of shooters. So I mean, it is.
You having some trouble over there? What's up?
Let me just say this: Magic didn't shoot.
Yeah, but
Magic was a passer.
it wasn't a shooters league back then. They weren't shooting threes. They weren't shooting threes in the 80s.
The thing that doesn't change about the league is guys that create shots for others are always useful on the court.
I'll give you that. You're not wrong. I think my biggest rebuttal to that is who else is shooting the ball though? They don't have any shooters anymore. They just got a bunch of guys at 6'9", 6'10", 7'2". Like
my man
shooting the ball.
There's big men on the court that can shoot.
They're not shooting the 3-ball. That's for sure.
They stretching the court out though.
I don't know. What you think, Jordan?
I'm just confused at how Drake can say that whenever he had Rajon Rondo on the Celtics squad. You want to talk about a guard who can't shoot, man? What are you talking about, man?
That's true. When he was on the Celtics, he could not shoot.
The one thing, but then you look at it, you look at the height difference. Rajon Rondo is like 6'3", and then you've got a 6'10" point guard. 6'10" point guards are always going to be valuable no matter who they're playing with. Yep. He's a 6'10" point guard.
Okay.
He's worth everything they paid him. Everything he paid him. He's worth,
I don't think that he isn't.
He had Paul Pierce, he had Ray Allen, and he had KG. He didn't need to shoot like that. The man had the best handles, the best passer in the league by far. His defense was still on point. Like, he didn't have to do all that. Yeah, that was a problem with his game, but at least he had shooters around him. Ben Simmons ain't got no shooters around him, so people are gonna, de facto go to him as a guard, and he can't do it. Like,
but at the same time, you're talking about an argument about a player getting his money versus his team.
Oh no, I he did his money.
I know. I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though. Whenever you make a comparison about him not being able to shoot as a point guard, you can't say that whenever your favorite team had one of the least shooting point guards in the league.
So Rondo at least 35% 3-point shooter, and Rondo can hit free throws sometimes.
See,
but
I think
Ben Simmons hasn't been developing anything. His free throws still suck. 3-pointers still suck. Like, it's just, and Rondo's way more aggressive than Ben Simmons. Way more aggressive.
Yeah, I think Ben Simmons is kind of play all the time as opposed to some of the time. And again, I feel like
Ben Simmons got aggressive when Jared Dudley called him out. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. And again, who's shooting the ball? Like, it's okay. I don't mind that I got a 6'10" point guard that can handle the rock. He can get to the hoop. I'm good with all of that. But who's shooting the ball? Jimmy Butler's gone. JJ Redick is gone. Like, who's shooting the ball? Like, Courtney, what do you think?
Nobody is shooting the ball.
They still got Tobias now. Let's slow down.
Nobody's
Tobias is still there. I'll give you that.
Joel Embiid gonna be hurt by mid-season.
And Richardson is shooting.
Josh Richardson.
That's true. I forgot about that. I forgot they got him.
They gotta just pay him his money. They gotta stick with him. That's a franchise-changing talent. Period. Point blank. However, he still can't shoot, and it just doesn't look good as a team fit for all the new additions that they've had to include that contract extension. So we'll see how it looks.
That's a good point. I mean, Aaron, you got anything else you want to add to that before?
No, I mean, you really can't put the blame on him. I would put it more on Elton Brand, the GM, because how you let JJ Redick walk for 2 years, $26 million, but you give Al Horford $100+ million, like. Fit wise, I would rather much have JJ than Al on that team. Like, it made no sense for him to walk out the door for that little amount of money.
Right, 100%. I agree with that.
You see, like Steph in Golden State, he can't defend. So what did they do? Got Clay, they got Draymond. Always have a center that could defend. With Philly, they got Ben Simmons who can't shoot. Surround them with guys who can't shoot. Not the smartest thing in the world.
You think they got that? They got.
I really think Philly only got Al Horford because Al Horford kept shutting. I won't say he shut him down, but Al Horford could at least guard Embiid in the playoffs.
He's a great defender. It's great. They're gonna be probably the best team.
Really, I think in the East, I think Horford guards Embiid the best. So if you take the best defender for your best player and add him to your team, I think Philly might think that's going to help them out in the playoffs. But they're really lacking in that shooting department.
Yeah, but not only that, but I mean, you mentioned that Embiid's health history is not the greatest. So after he goes down, you got another big who can essentially fill the same role that he's doing.
Yep. And it's all 100% good points. And, like I said, all in all, I feel like, he deserves the money at the end of the day because, like I said, somebody else was going to pay it if they didn't pay it. And, you got to keep your guys. And, he's one of their guys. He's one of the foundations for their team to work. All right. So moving right along from Ben Simmons. Next up, as you know, all these trades that have been happening, Chris Paul got traded to, excuse me, Chris Paul got traded to Oklahoma City Thunder for Russell Westbrook and, 1,000 draft picks. So what do we think, happens here with Chris Paul? Because let's be honest, Chris Paul's not part of the rebuilding operation in Oklahoma City. What happens with his contract? He's owed way too much money. Does he try to stick it out? Does he take a pay cut, or what do we think? Courtney, what do you think?
I don't know. After a while and after thinking about it for a bit, it's starting to look like they're not going to be able to do much with him, at least as of yet. I feel like he's probably going to have to end up staying on the roster in some way, shape, or form, at least until the trade deadline, or we figure out who's getting a contract extension and who's not. Because there's no wiggle room for cap space for anybody.
Right, and I know Miami has been kind of a talk of the town. Stick him down there in Miami, see what happens with him and Jimmy. Just because nothing else is happening in Miami, the team really isn't good like that.
Too, though.
Who cares? What does that matter? What does that matter? It doesn't matter to them.
Dragic's not just a guy, man.
At this point, Miami just wants to get people in the seats as best as they possibly can, because they're not good. So and if Oklahoma City can pull off getting even more draft picks for in this whole situation, they will have really pulled off a steal. But since you want to go ahead, since you want to speak on it.
Shoot, I like what OKC did with this trade. I like that OKC has 2 first-round draft picks for the next few years, and I think they're gonna rebuild just like they built from the bottom up before with their original, team with Harden and Westbrook and KD and Ibaka being there. And I think Sam Presti's gonna be able to execute something very similar. Probably not the same magic that they had before, but I think he'll be able to put together a solid team again. I like that Chris Paul is going to get paid regardless of where he is because that's his contract. And I also think that Sam Presti's still going to try to get more draft picks. And I think Chris Paul is gone by game 1 in the regular season.
Here's the thing that's tough about, the whole Sam Presti argument and him being able to, now you make some good points. They did build a great, team that they had before. Like I said, you mentioned, Harden and Westbrook and Durant, but you got to hit for that. They get lucky. You have certain picks in the draft. Guys fall to you. You make the right pick. Durant fell into his lap. It was a no-brainer. They had, I think that was the second pick that year.
Greg Oden.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Greg Oden happened, man.
That should have never happened. They should have never even had Durant. So
Greg Oden, bro.
So my point
is,
it's like they can have 1,000 draft picks. The point is, draft picks in the NBA, as we know, they're not the same as they are like in the NFL. If you told me NFL team had 15 first-round draft picks over the next 7 years, you'd be like, yo, they about to create a dynasty. But in the NBA, It's so hit or miss. It is really 50-50. Like, Aaron, what you think?
But this is a team that's already proven that, they're able to draft well, right?
You're right, and that's not. You bring up. That's a good point. Tell me what you think, Aaron.
With me, I think OKC. I think they got a heist. I think they pulled off a robbery because what I would do with Chris Paul is, you're not going anywhere. I'm gonna make you play this whole season. You're gonna inflate your stats. You're gonna average about 24 and 11. Then we trade you next year. So I'm giving them the keys to the franchise. Hey, do what you want, like Westbrook did. Get as many numbers as you need, man. You can average 25 and 12. Do what you need to do. Play 36 minutes a game, 37 minutes a game. And after that, it's easier to trade him with 2 years on his contract than 3 years because you can work with 2 years over than 3 years. Because that third year, what is it, 47 million, something like that?
Yeah, 47 and a half, something craziness.
But
Man, but is there anybody in the NBA with worse luck than Chris Paul?
Nope.
Like maybe Carmelo, but I swear Chris Paul has had the worst luck. Like it all started when the X trade to the Lakers. Sorry about that, Aaron, but they didn't let that go through, and that was a way for him to get with Kobe and all them, and then to go for a championship. But he goes to Houston. He and Harden was supposed to bring a championship. Now they having issues and all that kind of stuff. And with Golden State now not being that top team anymore, Kawhi didn't go to the Lakers. So it's really even around the league. This was Houston's shot. If they could have just, I'm not even going to say work it out. Just say, look, man, I don't like you. You don't like me. But let's get through these 82 games in the regular season. Let's get through these playoffs. Let's do what we got to do because we both need rings. And then we ain't got to talk, when we now on the court. But they couldn't even do that, and they trade Chris Paul. I mean, this man keeps bouncing from team to team to team, and every time he leaves, that's just his chance of getting a ring going down, down, down. And I swear, I think he's going to be in that same mold as Carmelo. Like, he's not going to be able to get out his own way to say, all right, I'll take less money, or, hey, I'll even come off the bench, do whatever I got to do. Like, I really think at the end of his career, he's going to be he's going to be in that conversation of one of the greatest players to not win a ring. And in his case, probably even one of the greatest players to not even reach the finals.
That's a good point. Wow. I mean, that's all good points. And, it's, again, it's one of those things like
you had that written down back then?
He's got to look out. He's got to really kind of look out for self on that. Jordan, what do you think?
Man, I don't even know what you're supposed to do with him, man. Obviously, he's not taking the buyout. So I know we've talked about it, just a person before is you going to take the buyout, so you're going to take less money, or are you just going to play your contract out? So if they're not coming to an agreement, like Darren said, you going to play for me then. I mean, you have to play.
And I like that point that Aaron made because I haven't, all the talk that's been going around, I hadn't heard anybody even come up with that, with that suggestion, like, you know what, they should just keep him and let him play and let him ball out and play as much as he wants and accumulate as much numbers as he wants, because that will only increase his trade value. And to his point, which is a very good point, it's easier to trade somebody with one less year on the contract. So that's a really good point. So, I think
if he can stay healthy, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's always a big if with him.
We ain't got to worry about that because OKC's not getting in the postseason, and that's when he gets hurt. So there goes that.
But that's how Chris Paul can't play basketball anymore, though.
That's true. I mean, he can still ball. It's just whether or not he can still healthy.
And having James Harden on your team doesn't help your numbers as a guard. So he can still play. He just need to lose 10 to 15 pounds because he got a little chubby.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. I mean, yes.
He can still play. He shot 38% from three. He can still play basketball. So.
And that's a good point. And he can still play. But I think this is coming under the microscope because, yes, he's been hurt. Yes, he's lost a step naturally because he's getting older. But what magnifies it even more than that is that because the contract is so big, it just makes it look worse. If he was playing for half what he's playing for, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. We'd just be like, oh, well, I guess he'll play and they'll do what they do and whatever. I feel like this wouldn't even be the topic that it is if his contract wasn't as bad as it was. And, and again, that's Houston's fault. So that's
yes.
So with that said, good points, fellas, on the Chris Paul. And that brings up another good point in the NBA. And finally, the NBA, by way of, I guess, natural attrition, has now moved away from these big threes, right? These big threes, these super teams, I guess, if you will. And now it's, duos. These duos now are littered throughout the league. All these good teams, they have these good duos, and they're just trying to put good pieces around these two guys, which I think is great. I think finally there's some parity in the NBA, and we don't know. We coming into next year, we got some teams that got a lot better, and we looking at who might be the favorites, which are the LA teams and Milwaukee, and but it's a toss up. It's not like, all right, Warriors in 6. We're not starting out the year talking about well it's gonna be Warriors and Cavs again, or Warriors and whoever, and I think a lot of that credit finally goes to Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, because if not for them, I feel like we wouldn't even be here, because Kawhi could have gone to the Lakers. KD could have re-signed with Golden State. I mean, we knew he wasn't going to do that, but yes, he could have. The option was there. He could have just taken the money. He's sitting out next year anyway. He could have exercised that player option, which I'm sure a lot of people would have done. But they finally brought back, I guess, parity to the league. Kevin Durant destroyed it, and now he's bringing it back. He's bringing back balance. So I guess it's kind of like, Kevin Durant's like Anakin Skywalker. So, shout out to y'all knowing that Star Wars reference.
Aaron, what you got?
Come out. Before we get to Kevin Durant destroyed it, we all know LeBron James destroyed parity in the league. We're not going to start with KD. KD
no, he didn't. You just a
LeBron.
LeBron hater. That's all it is, bro. That's all it is. You just LeBron.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But that has nothing to do with this.
It's not the same, man. You know it.
It's worse. I know.
No, Kevin Durant is worse. Kevin Durant is
LeBron James literally ruined the league, and he tried to keep it going this year. Begging Kawhi to play, I'll change the way. Like, no, you got AD. That's enough.
Well,
calm down.
Let's take.
How you know he was begging? You was watching him.
Go eat your tacos, man. Stop begging Kawhi. I know you want to ride coattails like you rolled D-Wade coattails.
That's why he had the Finals MVPs.
Let's take it further back than that, because let's not pretend like this is something new and LeBron started this. LeBron did not start this, because let's not forget that the Celtics did this because they couldn't beat Kobe.
Wait a minute.
It goes further than that.
Kevin Garnett started this because he couldn't beat Kobe.
Different though, because Danny Ainge really behind a lot of that. Like, LeBron was behind of everything that happened for the Heat. Like, D-Wade, Chris Paul.
That's not LeBron. That's not LeBron's fault, because LeBron became the ambassador for the players.
Hold on. So what we can't forget is that, it's different when a team is able to make trades and pull transactions in order to be able to put a team together. And it's very different than when a player goes, I can't get past this team. My team isn't building around me well enough. I have to go over here and play with guys that I already plotted with in order to create something, in order to be able to win a championship. Like, to me, that's kind of... That's kind of in my opinion.
Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, nor KG had a ring when they all joined. So I mean, it's a little different. It's not like you're joining somebody that's already won. Like, they all had to learn how to win when they joined up. I mean, granted, yeah, they won the first year they all together, but that dynasty, I mean, we should have been so much more than what we had.
The only person that had a ring was Dwayne Wade.
Right. LeBron didn't have any rings when he went to Miami.
I mean,
but the thing was LeBron drove that. Like, LeBron,
and neither did Chris Bosh.
He was trying to get them to come to Cleveland. He was even telling D-Wade, hey, we can go to Chicago because I know you from Chicago and you liked it there and everything. D-Wade was like, nah, man, I'm real cool with Miami. So he's the one that really pulled LeBron to Miami. Then they pulled Chris Bosh to Miami. And then it started just everything. Like, he started dumping the team. He was like, he wanted to get rid of the coach, and he wanted Pat Riley to coach them after like 9 games.
I mean, it's Pat Riley though. Come on.
Like,
you can't. It's Pat Riley.
But the thing is, like,
Spoelstra, Pat Riley.
But it's a brand new team. It's 82 games, and after 9 games, you want to say, nah, get rid of this coach. I need somebody else. Like, you don't know what the team's gonna be like. You gotta get a little bit more than that. And that's not your team. It's your team. That's D-Wade's team. If D-Wade has said that, now office the coach, but not.
Is Eric Spoelstra still coaching?
Yes.
In the NBA?
Yes, he's still the same coach. He won 2 rings with that same team.
Yeah, that buys you a lot of time.
But to be fair, it was a free agent move. It wasn't something that he forced a trade in. I mean, you look at big free agent moves that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Aaron, you're a Lakers fan, bro. Shaq moved to LA. Eddie Jones, Kobe Bryant were there, bro. He played.
Kobe Bryant was 17.
I mean, Kobe was young, but
Kobe was 17.
That's why he came. Like,
so you can't tell me that wasn't a power move to go to LA.
It was though.
Hold on, but it was a different time also, because you got to remember.
No, it's not. He left Penny Hardaway. Which is the opposite of what LeBron did.
And Shaq moving to LA was more so about him building his personal brand, and it was more of a career move as far as his net worth is concerned. That was more of an off the court thing, and they just happened to have some pretty good players in LA at the time. I'm just talking about from Shaq's viewpoint at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true. And again, as a big man, you know, if you're gonna go somewhere, why not go to LA?
Orlando.
All I'm saying is I agree with Aaron when he said that LeBron's the one that started all this.
That's all I was saying. I know we got on a super hard tangent over here, but
Kevin Garnett started this.
Let's not forget he went back to Cleveland. The same thing again. He was like, if I come to Cleveland, y'all gotta get Kevin Love.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. Do you go to a team and go, hey, I want to lose? No, I want to get that guy on my team. I want to win.
So
I don't understand why that's so bad. Look at what Kawhi did. Kawhi is a master manipulator, bro. He manipulated PG out of OKC.
They calling him a Kawhiser Soze now.
Bro, it was a great move. There was no hate on that. It was a great move.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
PG a tree.
So now that again, the new thing now is back to duos, and we have good parity. Who do you guys think are the best? Of these duos. Kind of a
Kawhi and Paul George.
I'll go last on this one. I'll go last on this one.
Kawhi and Paul George.
Well, give me in fairness to keeping it, give me who you think are the best three duos that are in the league. Go ahead, Courtney.
Kawhi and Paul George. LeBron, AD. And Stephen Clay.
In that order?
In that order.
I like that.
That's not bad. That's not bad. What you guys see? What do you think?
I'll give you Stephen Clay at 3. At 2, I like LeBron and AD, and at 1, I like Westbrook and Harden. But it ain't gonna work.
Yikes!
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. They gonna be in my 3 too. I can't lie. They gonna be in my 3.
But at the top, though.
Wait.
Wait, hold on.
The watch or the top 3 that actually gonna win a final?
No.
That's history. It's history. It's history.
My question,
I mean,
for further elaboration.
Hold on. Go ahead, Jordan.
Is this for this coming season? Because KD ain't playing this coming season.
Is
this for the season or just in general?
It's up to you. It's your world.
No, I'm just curious. Well, I mean,
all together, not just this season coming up, because
I don't know. That makes sense.
Because KD and Kyrie ain't going nowhere between now and the year after. So, who you got, Jordan? What's your
LeBron, AD?
Is that number 1?
That's number 1. And then I gotta go KD, Kyrie. Or no, I'm sorry. I like Paul George and Kawhi over them. And then I do like Westbrook and Harden. That's a personal. I'm a Harden guy. People don't like him, but I like him.
My man. Dre,
what you got?
All right. So at number 1, I got Stephen Clay. They've proven.
Wow.
They already. Don't even start that point. I ain't going to quit any in there, even though Kemba and Tatum going to tear it up. But number one on the list, Clay and Steph. They've been together. They've won finals together. I mean, to be honest, I think that if he hadn't torn his ACL, I think they might have been able to take that to 7 games and could have even pulled that out.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
they number 1 on my list. Number 2, I'm going with Kawhi and PG. Main thing is now Grant both gonna be doing low and PG. Sometimes he be hiding in the shadows when the lights get bright and everything. But the defensive presence of those two together, like you just cannot disregard that. Like the Clippers about to be one of the best defensive teams out there because of the two of them. Like I mean,
that's a fact.
They're automatically.
Oh my God.
And then number 3, even though he ain't playing this year, number 3 is going to be KD and Kyrie. It's going to be interesting to see how that works because, I mean, one reason that Kyrie didn't work with the Celtics is because he's so ball dominant and he wants to do what he wants to do and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic with him and KD. But if they can get that to work, man, that's going to be crazy. Like, so that's my top 2 right there.
You're the softest duo in the league, bro.
All right, Aaron, go ahead. Let me hear what you got.
For me, number 3, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They're going to be locking things down. Obviously, they both can score. They both can shoot. That's going to be a great duo right there. Number 2 might surprise a little people. Anthony Davis and Kyle Kuzma. Because I only respect players that come to LA to play basketball. So Anthony Davis and Kyle Kuzma will be the second best duo in the NBA next year. And
I like that.
Number 1, none of y'all mentioned them, going to be the best duo the next 5 years in the NBA. Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis going to be the best duo in the NBA. And when the Mavericks make the playoffs, you heard it here first.
That's a good one, bro.
Them two. Watch.
I'm not gonna lie, I ain't think of the European players right there. Oh my god.
Because they gonna ball. I'm not even mad at that.
They scary, yeah, they scary.
Watch it. They're gonna be nice.
Kristaps got to stay healthy.
Young. Kristaps still what, like 23 or something?
Exactly. That would be my top 3 right there, though. I would have put a guy in there, but he's not there to play basketball. So until he's ready to play basketball, can't be in my top 3.
He already told me.
How's the Space Jam 2 coming? How's production of that coming along so far?
Exactly. He's probably gonna lose.
Haters gonna hate, man. It's all right.
Basically, for me, it's gonna go like this. Before we switch, I'm gonna hit y'all with mine. I'm gonna go at the top. I'm gonna go LeBron and AD. I'm gonna go Kawhi and Paul George next, and I'm gonna go with Russ and Harden, because I'm gonna go with Russ and Harden for the same reason that Kawhi and PG are gonna work. I don't care what position they play. Look, let's just get out here and let's hoop. Let's just get buckets. Let's just get buckets. Like, they're the two. Yes, they're both two of the most ball dominant players that's been in the league the last 5 years. But at the same time, who else on their team really needs to have the ball in their hands like that anyway? Everybody else is just a support piece. Yep. So give it to Russ, give it to Harden, let him pick up ball back and forth, and let's just go ahead and get buckets. That's it. It ain't like they don't know each other and they haven't done this before. Yes, they were different guys 8 years ago. We understand that. But they still know each other and they still play together on some fashion. So let's not pretend like they got to have this whole reunion and this whole like honeymoon process going on, because, I don't think, I don't believe in all that. Let's just go out there and let's hoop.
I don't think it's that we don't trust them. We just don't trust D'Antoni in the playoffs.
Forget D'Antoni. They still not going anywhere. But that's not the point.
Don't mention D'Antoni in here. Oh God, no! Please.
Yeah, who?
He just the Rockets head coach. The Rockets head coach.
Oh, poor Lakers fans.
Don't get me started on him.
D'Antoni just
talking about the guy that first week at the Lakers bench Paul Gasol. Don't get me started. Please don't get me started.
Yeah. So
figure out what Dwight Howard.
Anyway, so those are some great points on some NBA stuff that we got going on. And so we're gonna switch gears, and I'm gonna take this over to the world of video games, because we are Sports Gaming Anonymous. The big talk of this past week has been about the Nintendo Switch. We've got a new model coming, the Nintendo Switch Lite. Smaller, thinner, better battery life, better D-pad, the Joy-Cons don't detach, all that good stuff. Now on top of that, Nintendo also just announced an OG model Switch with the just better battery life, which is a little confusing for a lot of people, because it's like, okay, now you got an OG Switch that just got a better battery life, 4 hours to 9 hour battery life or something like that. But it's like, I feel like as an original Switch owner, that everybody's got a Switch right now, as an original Switch owner, that's gonna, for the people that don't want to get a Switch Lite, it's like you're just alienating and pissing off those people, because like, yo, so what am I supposed to do with my Switch? Like, you going like, so I'm supposed to trade my Switch and get that Switch just to get better battery life? Like, I feel like it's going to frustrate a lot of people, and I'm going to pass this off to Courtney, because I know we got a couple of Switch owners in here, and, y'all can speak on it, what y'all think about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that definitely feel alienated. Honestly, I'm probably not going to even look into getting said upgrade, if anything at all. I'll just go and get the power bank from Walmart or Amazon. and rock out because you get even more battery life, and I don't have to drop another $300 maybe.
Yeah.
Or is it the same price point?
280 maybe. I think it's the same price point or maybe a little less. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna change the price point because it's the same. It's the same Switch.
Yeah. That's why I'm confused because we just had the conversation about waiting for the new Switch,
Right.
the one that's going to be potentially the one that's docked and just you don't take anywhere, upgraded graphics, all of that kind of stuff, and it might still be coming. But then why even put this out?
Because this is
wait.
And you're right, and this is what Nintendo does, and I made a point on this before because I feel like Nintendo's move with this is to say, okay, the DS is dead, right? We got a 3DS, new game support. That's gonna be a new games. Don't expect it. Expect game support to be done by 2021. This is what's gonna happen. The Switch Lite. That's the new Nintendo mobile device. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted like DS is still going to be out here in these streets. It is not. The Switch Lite is going to be the new mobile Switch. And I feel like this is what Nintendo is going to want to do. The Lite series is going to be their mobile series. And then whatever they do with the next Switch model, the Pro model or whatever it's going to be called, I feel like that'll be the Switch or whatever they call it that stays permanent in the house, much like OG, like a Wii U, GameCube. They'll probably go back to that and keep it where that stays stationary. And if you want to go mobile, you hook up your Switch Lite, because as I told people, and I've did some thinking on this, and I'm gonna share my thoughts on it a little bit. Jordan, tell me what you think on this first, because I know you're our other Switch owner and could speak on this.
Man, it's a bit confusing to what Courtney's point was, and you bring out the Switch Lite, and then you talk about a regular Switch console, that's have a battery life.
Yeah.
I'm fine with my regular Switch console now, man. If I got a Switch Lite and I want to go with that, you get both of them. I mean, what's the point of having a better battery life?
Right, exactly. And I want to make a point about the Switch Lite, because initially I had my thoughts like, who is this for, right? Who is this for? Is this for the Switch owner that has a certain play style or play type? Is this for new Switch? Because we got some potential. Like I know C has been thinking about getting a Switch, and now he's going to come in like, okay, which model is for me? And I think I got a good answer. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about it, because I know you don't have a Switch yet, but you've been thinking about it.
Yeah. As a prospective owner, I like the upgrade that they did, because that upgrade is for people like me who haven't dive yet. So I'm with it.
Right.
The Lite probably more so like, it makes sense because now Nintendo doesn't have to. They don't have to make games for two different consoles now. Now they can just make Switch games, and some of them go with the Lite.
Exactly.
So it makes sense. Now, if I have titles at home, I'm a parent, I got kids, I'm trying to get them out of the house. I'm in the middle of my game. Shoot, grab your Lite, get in the car, let's go. And now, you can continue your game, and I love the idea. But as a game owner, just in general, it feels like a money grab. Like, yo, let's see what else we can do to sell more.
And
the 3DS and the DS, they've been performing fine as far as I've seen. And everybody who's
money maker.
Get one.
Top selling console, like.
Yeah, that DS has been their moneymaker, and you make some great points, especially talking about the kids. But here's the thing with the Switch Lite that I felt like I've identified a little bit about who this might be for. Now, first of all, we have to take into consideration Switch Lite is $100 less right off the top, so $200. Okay, it's mobile, so we know you're getting a smaller screen. Now, there's two huge to me are improvements. One, the Joy-Cons are now fused into the system, if you will. They're not detachable. It's all one device. Now, I think that's a huge thing because if you've ever played a Switch in handheld mode, you always feel like you're going to break the Joy-Cons off. Okay? So it's one of those things where making it all one device I feel like is an excellent move. And the other big thing is it actually has an native and actual D-pad now, not just 4 individual buttons on the Joy-Con, which are so annoying. But having an actual true D-pad, I think, is a huge move. Now, I asked myself, who is this for? Because I feel like as a Switch owner, this might be something for me where I can say this might replace my Switch. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm the Switch owner that doesn't play in dock mode. I can't even tell you the last time I put my Switch on to play it on the TV. I might do that, let's say on a percentage standpoint, of the time I play the Switch, I might play it docked, I don't know, 1.5% of the time. I never play it docked, bro. Anytime I play my Switch, I'm always playing it handheld. I'm chilling in the living room, in the bathroom, I'm in the car, I'm in the waiting office. I'm always playing it in handheld mode. So that might be for a gamer like me, like my son, for instance. They play the Switch like 85% of the time on the TV. So this is not going to replace it for them. This is now, would you want to get one, for your kids, for them to take the mobile one on the go and they can still play the Switch games, and you don't want them to, damage those Joy-Cons and damage the main console, out on the street. But the mobile one, I feel like it's going to be a lot more durable than the OG Switch. Again, but I feel like this might be for somebody like me who plays in, handheld mode most of the time. I don't play in dock mode. This might be for me. I might be saying, you know what? Let me trade my Switch, sell my Switch or whatever, and let me get a Switch Lite because I don't care to play in dock mode anyway. And I want the better D-pad and the non-detachable Joy-Cons, because you can still connect Joy-Cons and Pro controllers and all that stuff to that. So that's just my take on it. If you guys got, I don't know if y'all 2 or 3 got any more thing else to add to it, but
Ooh, y'all passionate about this.
Dre, you don't count. You don't have a Switch. You're not in the
That's
Switch
true. That's
game.
true.
I don't have.
I tell you, my last Nintendo anything was, what was a Game Boy Advance.
That's fire.
I've been away from Nintendo in a minute, so it's not something I haven't even really thought about going back. I mean, granted, like I've had friends that had like the Wii and we played Wii Sports and stuff like that, but like me owning something Nintendo, nah, I've been off that boat for a minute.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Courtney, Jordan, you guys got anything to add before we close out our Switch topic?
Aaron, what was you about to say, Doug?
He ain't getting a Switch.
He look like he got something on the
Switch. I don't want the Switch. It's just over my head. I feel like they try to iPhone me. It's too many of them. I don't want to think. Look, I'm good.
They trying to iPhone me.
That's what I made that point when we were.
I got an Xbox. I'm chilling.
That's a good point. I mean, that's what Nintendo does. Nintendo has always done this with. Now remember, this is what they do with their mobile systems. Look at the DA. You got the Game Boy. You had the Game Boy Pocket. You had the Game Boy Color. You had the Game Boy Micro. You had the Game Boy Advance. You had the Game Boy SP. You got 3D Lite, 3DS, 3D XL, new 3D XL. Like, this is what Nintendo does. And this is what they always have done. So this is going to be their new thing, what they do with the, that mobile Switch, that mobile Switch game. All right. So, we covered the NBA, we covered a lot of Switch stuff, Sports Gaming Anonymous. So let's get into a little bit of Anonymous. I know recently in the news, there's been a lot of shenanigans happening in grocery stores and markets across the country. People licking the ice cream and doing all kind of craziness. I mean, Aaron, I'm gonna let you kick this off because I know you can speak on this.
For me, if I catch you in the store licking ice cream and putting it back, I will break your jaw. Understand me?
Agree.
Do not lick my Bluebell ice cream, my cream, like my first child that I don't have. Do not mess with my food. Like, on a serious note, you can literally have like so much germs and diseases that people can have, and they're just contaminating food like that. I feel every last person should be arrested and thrown in prison. Don't scare them. Give them 5 years. It wouldn't bother me one bit to see them people be in prison. Not at all.
I agree.
And that's the funny part is whenever they first got the girl on the video, I was looking through the Facebook feed, and they were like, could face up to 20 years, and everybody's like, oh, 20 years, that's a lot. And I'm like, first of all, messing with food is a big thing. That's a felony for one. But I mean, at the same time, you gotta read what it says. It says up to 20 years. But you don't mess with people's food. Period.
Bro, I absolutely hate. I don't mind sharing my food with people, but even my own family, like you don't reach over my own plate. You don't reach over and grab my plate, like food off my plate and stuff like that. Like, no, you don't be doing that. So imagine you go into a store, like I can't trust anything. You walk into a store and you immediately pull, I don't see no plastic. I'm putting this back. I ain't even buying it. Like my trust factor of grocery stores, man, I just can't even. I can't deal with it. Like, I agree that 20 years might be a bit much for it, but then again, I don't really care because you out there contaminating stuff that people might buy, pay your fine, go to prison, do all that kind of stuff you have to do because you're just trying to do something for, what is it? A video can be like a minute long on Instagram, whatever. So you're trying to do something for 60 seconds of clout. And then next, you're about to spend 20 years in prison. Like, clout ain't that important to me. Like,
That's a fact.
Not at all.
I don't know if did y'all see the guy that drunk the Arizona tea and like spit it back in there and then topped it back off?
Yeah.
You deserve. Oh my God. Never mind.
Let him know. Let him know, man.
Just know he going to hell. That's all.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So it's again, like Aaron said, don't let me catch you out there. That's what I'm saying.
Hey. For everybody there, check the seal. If it's got a seal, check the seal. Check the seal, check the cap. Make sure that shit is a lot because people out here do crazy things. All right, just check.
Well, apparently Bluebell hadn't been sealing their ice cream for some time.
A lot of companies don't.
No. With the ice cream, with the gallon,
Breyers
the gallons. It's usually the gallons though. The gallons don't get sealed. The pints or the quarts, those get sealed, but the gallons usually don't get sealed. You can go to Walmart right now and look at their generic version, and it's not gonna have a seal.
Yeah, stealing those things costs extra money, so they just decide not to.
Yeah, exactly. They gotta cut the cost.
Machine that has to fill it and
Walmart and check for the seals because someone else gonna catch you opening the ice cream in the store, and you're gonna be in the middle of a street fight. So just a real quick piece of advice.
Oh shit!
All right, so I know keeping up with our anonymous flow here. I know we all into music, right? And I had a top 3, but I just switched gears. I just switched gears on y'all.
All right.
So I got a one gotta go. All right.
Let's do it.
I got a one gotta go for you in music. All right. I got 4.
All right.
Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas.
What?
I'll start with this one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The rapper.
We know who you New Yorkers gonna take out.
Nah. Nas gotta go immediately, bro. I'm gonna tell you why Nas gotta go. Cause Nas didn't put nobody on. Nas didn't put nobody in the game.
Why is that a precursor?
Wait a minute, hold up. Nas gotta leave just because he didn't put anybody on.
He's been doing it for shelf since day one, and he ain't helped nobody out. Even Tupac, you know what I'm saying? He put the Outlaws on. He put Bone Thugs on. You know what I'm saying? Tupac.
But you know how many artists have said Nas has been their inspiration?
They said he's influential, and your inspiration is not being put on though.
Let me jump in here because I'm gonna hit y'all with mine because before I let y'all, usually I will wait for the end, but I feel like I need to jump in on this. One gotta go. For me, I thought about this and it's low key kind of easy for me. I'm taking out Tupac.
New York bias, boy, I tell you.
And most people, I'm sure, would look at the list and go, "Yeah, just take out Nas." Not for me. Nas's flow is. I'm just, again, yes. Do I have New York bias? Probably, but at the same time, it's not unjust. I'm taking out Tupac, and again, only because I got to think about these 4 whose music spoke to me the least. And quite frankly, is Tupac. I listened to Tupac, but I wasn't like
I didn't listen to a lot of it. I wasn't checking for like, oh yeah, that new Tupac. Like it was like, oh yeah, Tupac is nasty. He's good. You know, he's one of the greatest ever. But do you want me to take him over one of these other three whose music I flow with, I mess with? They got classic albums. Not that Tupac doesn't, but I'm just saying like they got albums that I continuously go back to. Plus, now I got the cleanest fade of all time. So,
Hold on. Hey, bro,
Alright.
you can young fellas, but you can't fool me, man. I remember in 8th grade, used to wear the bandanas over your head, tied with
no,
the
that was a no. That was, hold
Yeah.
on. That wasn't a Tupac thing. That was a Deion Sanders thing.
huh?
That was a Deion Sanders thing. That was not a Tupac thing.
You spitting on teachers and all of that.
That was terrible.
Spitting on teachers.
Don't
Feel
listen.
like it just-
Woo! What type of read was this?
Jordan, we gotta get your input.
Yeah, what you got, Jordan?
Oh shit.
I mean, for me personally, it would be Nas going only because I do kind of like the even though it wasn't like that first, I do like the precursor. I mean, it's not that I don't like Nas. For me personally,
Illmatic.
it's just I like the other three better, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with who he put on, but that is a good aspect of how you help be influential in music. Like to Dre's point, yes, Nas was influential in people's lives, but these guys are people who are bringing other people with them, and not only just being influential, but they're putting them on. But no, I mean at the same time, I just like the other three, not necessarily lyrically. It's just that I like the other three.
All right, so before I go with my list, I just gotta ask one question. Are we only losing music catalog, or are we losing everything that this person has done?
Everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Well,
Which is
then
also why I
gotta-
can't take on Nas because he's a spokesperson for Bevel.
All right, so this is a hard decision, but I'm gonna take out Biggie, and here's why I'm taking out Biggie.
Oh,
The only reason I'm taking out Biggie is because
Yo.
catalog-wise, he does
Yeah,
not have the amount as
How
the
do I-
other three.
yeah, but he's got two of the most epic albums ever.
I understand that, and I told y'all this is hard for me, but the reason I asked that question was because
Didn't sound very hard.
if I lose both Nas and Jay-Z,
Right.
that means I lose J. Cole, and I can't lose J. Cole. So they got to
It
stay
all
regardless.
comes back
Wow.
to freaking
Wow.
All comes back to J. Cole.
Yeah, but
the dream.
weren't you the one? Weren't you the one that was just asking about the precursor of who's putting who on? And now you coming back with that as your
I love
response?
when they call me Big Papa. How you gonna just throw that away, my God? Come on, now.
I had to. This is hard. I know all the New Yorkers. I know they're gonna come after me and everything.
You're right.
But
But look,
that is my reason. It's not because of his. I love Biggie's music. I love the story. I love everything. But if we're just talking about losing everything, like I can't lose everything that Jay-Z's done. Nas was so influential to my favorite artists. And then when you come to just the catalogs that they all have out, because Biggie did come to an untimely end, R.I.P., it's just that he just does not have the amount, he does not have the music collection that the other three have. Even though Jay-Z has been very suspect in his music collection, he at least does have more.
Blueprint. All right. I mean, I'm not gonna hold you too much on that one. Who else? Who didn't go? Was Courtney?
Yeah. Nas gotta go, and that's just what it is. Nas gotta go.
Throwing one mic out the window.
And I ain't even really gonna speak much on it other than what y'all had said. I also don't really. He ain't in my phone to listen to. Not like that anyway.
There you go.
Not to the depth of the other three.
I mean, I ain't gonna hold you for that because for that same reason is why I gotta take out Tupac because I don't. It's not in my. It's not in my rotation. It just isn't.
It's just not there.
All right. So Aaron, you went right.
No, I did not.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And this is the easiest question. When you said to drop one, don't pick one, whatever, cut one, whatever it's called. As soon as you,
I know who he dropping.
If this one guy was on the list, he was for sure getting cut, bench, never existed. Every rap will be okay, and it is Jay-Z. He can go.
I knew it.
So fast, like it would not hurt me Like if those 4 rappers you listed, well, first of all, time out. Matter of fact, Nas gonna go with him. Matter of fact,
Wow.
both of them gonna go.
Wow.
We're gonna get Jay Z and Nas out of here.
I'll do one better.
And Nas, only reason why I'm letting Nas go because he just released a song last week and that junk was terrible. It's probably
He
the
wasn't feeling that?
worst of this century.
Wow.
He need to relax. He need to retire and relax. But
Hey,
real,
I
Jay-Z
thought it
needs
was
to go.
hot.
And the main reason Jay-Z needs to go is because if he wasn't
He
hitting,
got real high. He got real high.
I could really slide in Beyonce DMs. I mean, but he got her. But now on the real Jay-Z could go though. I'm not. His music is nothing for me. Like 99 Problems.
Reasonable Doubt.
Come on now.
Black Album.
A hard knock. Man, Jay-Z can go. His whole catalog can go. Because I mean, it's just Biggie. It's just a fake Biggie anyway. So I'm cool with it.
Man, if it wasn't for Jay-Z's existence, there wouldn't be no Lil Wayne right now.
That's a lie.
Look, right now,
Whoa,
Jay-Z,
you opened the can.
I'm not gonna let you open up that door.
That's a lie. Though. We gotta hit that. We gotta hit that some other time. But that was a lie. That's a lie.
That's
a lie.
if Jay-Z didn't y'all wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Lil Wayne and Turk.
That's.
But
we gonna pretend. We gonna edit that. You ain't say
I'm
that.
not gonna let you open up that door.
we'll open that one some other time, man. We
How much time we got left?
don't got time for that
So
one.
on that note, fellas, it's been excellent. You know, we covered some good topics today. Y'all brought it today. The very first
We
sports.
talking about the lighter flick. We're the lighter flick. We're Lil Wayne, the greatest of all time. We're gonna do that.
Look where you started, see?
Sports Gaming Anonymous, very first podcast. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, next week,
I got me a little torch too.
July 25th, Thursday, July 25th. For those of y'all in the community with EA access, the Madden trial goes live.
We got some heat.
You know, if you don't have an Xbox, sorry for you.
Well, no, PlayStation users got it now too.
Oh, did it go live? Did EA access go live for PS4?
Yeah, they went live. They went live.
Okay. So we don't care about that anyway. Sony sucks.
That's for another time too.
Facts. But Madden is next week, and you can be rest assured that Sports Gaming Anonymous is going to bring that Madden fire for you in every which way, shape, and form. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break the game apart. We're gonna talk about how trash it's been in the last 3 years. We're gonna cover all of that.
That's just a whole Madden episode.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the Madden heat for you. Sports Gaming Anonymous. It's been real, fellas. I am Henri, aka No, it's not Henry. And fellas, juice yourself for the outro there.
Little outro tag.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Are we leaving this thing? Like I said before, my name is Aaron, aka Slay Joe, and Kobe Bryant is the greatest basketball player to ever walk this planet.
Second greatest.
Don't forget the.
All right, y'all. I've been Dre. Y'all can hit me up at Dre_Wingate at everything.
No.
And that's just about it. He said, no. All right.
Don't forget Seymour. Y'all can give me a call if you want personally. Number was 281-330.
Hey,
What is happening?
You know what I mean?
Cut his mic off.
Mike Jones
Hey,
number.
see, ain't you married, bro?
Mute
Cut his
him.
mic off.
Mute him. Somebody mute him.
Stop.
What is happening?
Oh, the cops behind you? Oh.
Oh my God.
Yo, Georgia, hands-free state. Don't get caught up.
Hey, it's a stay in your ground state.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Play that game if you want to, black man.
I'm ready.
Start the podcast next week with one less person.
I thought we was leaving.
I'm signing off. I'm Jordan J. Hub, man. I'll catch y'all next week, man.
All right. Well, I'm Courtney. You can call me Dash as well. That's the gamer tag. We'll circulate those 1.2.
Nobody's gonna call you that.
Wow. That was my hope.
So thank you, fellas. It's been real, and we are gonna catch y'all on the next episode of Sports Gaming Anonymous.
There you go.
We are out.
One in the book.
It's been real.